Thank you and welcome to the Mesa City Council meeting for September the 10th. We'd like to excuse Vice Mayor Luna, who is out of town on city business. We will begin our meeting with a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand for the pledge and the moment of silence. Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. The first item on our agenda today is acknowledging some, or giving some recognition to some folks who really are very deserving of it. I think we all have experienced over the last few months the severe storms that have attacked the city of Mesa. And there's been a couple of incidents where city public safety and city staff were very involved in a very public way that received a lot of public attention. And I think it's very appropriate for us to acknowledge, some of the very heroic things that our police and fire and city employees have been engaged in over the last month or two. Of course, I think most of us saw the very dramatic video of the water rescue, and I'm pleased to give a big pat on the back to Fire Station 201, who was involved in that very dramatic water rescue from a car that fell into a canal. Of course, the 911 operators were very involved in that as well, and I know we're giving a lot of assistance to the woman that was trapped in that vehicle until that was no longer possible. And then thankfully, firefighter Kyle Kubel and the rest of Engine 201 arrived and was able to, in a very dramatic fashion, save a woman's life. So very proud of firefighter Kubel and the entire fire department for the amazing job they did in that situation. In very similar fashion, there was a second very dramatic incident that involved a very large tree falling into a house and literally injuring and pinning a person to their bed inside the house. Police and fire responded to that very dramatic and dangerous situation. Were able to save a life in that situation as well. And then I think, frankly, the story gets better from there, because the next day, our off-duty police and fire were involved very directly in addressing the needs of that family and that individual that was injured in that situation. And there was a lot of help in terms of making repairs to the home and helping that family to get situated again. I know Councilmember Freeman participated in that effort as well. So, and it wasn't just police and fire, but there were also other city departments that were very involved in bringing resources to help that family. So we're very proud of those two incidences, but it's important for us to know and to remember that there were literally hundreds of situations over the last couple of months in response to this to the storm damage that weren't maybe quite as high profile, but were very, very meaningful. So in addition to our public safety departments, we had volumes of calls to the 911 operators involving downed trees and lost electricity, flooded intersections, outage street lights. And so our city transportation, energy, engineering, and parks crews were very, very busy over this period of time. Here are just a few statistics to help you understand the breadth of the situation we were dealing with. Just in city parks alone, we had more than 300 trees that were downed. In addition to that, there were nearly 300 additional hazard response calls for downed trees throughout the city of Mesa. There were 18 shade structures at parks and pools that were torn apart and destroyed. There were more than 50 street light and traffic signal issues that were reported. More than 50 intersections that were impacted by the storms. There were 46 calls made regarding downed power lines and transformers. approximately 36,000 residents of Mesa and Apache Junction were without homes. I'm sorry, 36,000 homes in Mesa and Apache Junction lost their electricity. And I know Channel 11 has done a little reel that talks about some of the photographs and video documenting what I just described. Could you please run that video now?
That's insane. Look at that. Wow.
The hurricane, of course, there was a big, just lost half that tree.
Not just any crew, off-duty firefighters and police officers are here.
This is the house I grew up in. This tree has been here my whole life, my mom's whole life, and very grateful that you all are helping us to bring it down.
Many will agree the most incredible video to surface is that of this Mesa rescue. A woman was saved from a car that was completely underwater.
Tempted to clap, but I want you to hold for just a minute so we can just continue to kind of describe what went on here. Tonight, the Mesa City Council just wants to make sure that that all of the city employees who are involved in such a brave and courageous and selfless way in addressing the needs of our community get a pat on the back and feel of our thanks. So in particular, and this is a little bit dangerous because we're not entirely out of the woods yet in terms of potentials for storms. So knock on wood that we don't need to do this again in another week or two. But we didn't want to let too much time go by where we failed to acknowledge how grateful we are. So particularly the City of Mesa Transportation Department, the Energy Department, the Engineering Department, Parks, Fire and Medical and Police. We are really grateful for all of your service in these very challenging times. I'm going to ask the directors of each of these departments to please stand. And when I call the name of your department, if you're here, a frontline employee that was involved as well, please stand when I list your department. From Transportation Department, we have R.J. Zeter. R.J., thank you, and thank you, gentlemen, for your great service. Please remain standing, and we'll have a round of applause at the conclusion. From Energy Resources Department, Frank McRae. Frank, you have some of your folks? Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. The Engineering Department, led by Beth Huning. Thank you. Parks, Recreation, and Community Facilities Department, led by Mark Hirschberg. The Fire and Medical Department, led by Chief Mary Camelli. I think, Mary, this is Station 201, right? This is the group that was involved in that dramatic rescue we saw. Thank you. The Police Department, led by Chief Ramon Batista. Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Let's please join me in giving everyone here a round of applause. So thanks again, and again, it's a huge understatement for being on behalf of the community to say how proud we are of the great work that you've done in these very challenging times. Thank you very much. We'll now proceed with the work of this meeting. The first item on our agenda is to take action on the consent agenda. I would invite Mr. Kevin Christopher forward to read the consent agenda.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. These are the items on the consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk will be considered as a group by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion unless the council member or citizen requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered as a separate item. If a citizen wants an item removed, a blue card must be completed and given to the city clerk prior to the council's vote on the consent agenda. Item 2, approval of minutes of previous meetings is written. Item 3A, act on liquor license application for Advanced Independence Charity one-day event Friday, September 14th, 918 West Southern Avenue. Items 3B, 3C, and 3D, act on liquor license applications for Downtown Mesa Association one-day events Friday, October 5th, Friday, November 2nd, and Friday, December 7th on Main Street from Center Street to Robeson and on McDonald from First Street to First Avenue. Item 3E, act on liquor license application for Ultimate Imaginations Incorporated one-day event Saturday, October 27th, 922 South Country Club Drive. Items 3F, 3G, 3H, 3I, 3J, and 3K, act on liquor license applications for Ultimate Imaginations Incorporated one-day events Friday, January 4th, Friday, February 1st, Friday, March 1st, Friday, April 5th, Friday, May 3rd, and Friday, June 7th on Main Street from Center Street to Robeson and on McDonald from First Street to First Avenue. Item 4A, act on bingo application for Fellowship Square Senior Living, 35 West Brown Road. Item 5A, act on contract to purchase 2 replacement upgrade electronic message displays for the Mesa Arts Center as requested by the Arts and Culture Department, funding from the Mesa Arts and Entertainment Alliance and the Mesa Arts Center Restoration Fund. Item 5B, act on 4-year term contract with renewal options for childhood and adult vaccines for the Fire and Medical Department. This purchase is partially funded by a grant from the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian Community. Item 5C, act on contract to purchase 42 replacement Scott safety-powered air purifying respirators and 200 Scott air purifying cartridges for the Fire and Medical Department. This purchase is funded by the State Homeland Security Grant Program. Item 5D, act on a 3-year term contract with 2 years of renewal options for fire protection equipment maintenance and repair services for the Parks, Recreation, and Community Facilities Department. Item 5E, act on contract to purchase replacement upgrade network hardware for the Public Safety Communications Network for the Information Technology Department. This purchase is funded by the Topaz Joint Venture Fund. Item 5F, act on contract to purchase 1 replacement light-duty cab and chassis animal transport truck for the Community Services Department as requested by the Fleet Services Department. Item 5G, act on contract to purchase 1 replacement light-duty solid waste barrel container truck for the Environmental Management and Sustainability Department. Item 5H, act on a 3-year term contract with 2 years of renewal options for streetlight parts and materials for the Transportation Department. This purchase is funded by the Local Streets Fund. Item 5I, act on contract to purchase 1 replacement pipeline and manhole video inspection truck and system for the Water Resources Department as requested by the Fleet Services Department. Item 5J, act on ratification of the emergency purchase and 1-year renewal of the term contract for emergency electric line services for the Energy Resources Department. Item 5K, act on contract for the Downtown Facade Improvements Project. This project is funded by Community Development Block Grants and by a grant from the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian Community. Item 6A, act on resolution approving and authorizing the city manager to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with Maricopa County and the City of Phoenix for reallocation of grant funds from the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant or JAG program to resolve a funding disparity between the county and the cities. The funds will be used to purchase new interview room cameras and storage at police headquarters, the Mesa Family Advocacy Center, and the 4 patrol districts. Item 6B, act on resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the City of Maricopa Fire Department to accept an award from the Assistance to Firefighters Grant. The grant funds will be used for training at the Virtual Incident Command Center by the Mesa Fire and Medical Department and the other regional grant recipients. The City of Mesa match of 15% is required. Item 6C, act on resolution canvassing, declaring, and adopting the results of the primary election held on August 28, 2018. And item 7A, act on subdivision plat, Metro Mesa Phase 2, the 1,700 and 1,900 blocks of South Horn on the west side, the 1,700 and 1,900 blocks of South Hobson east side, and the 600, 800 blocks of East Auto Center Drive south side. This is located north of Baseline Road and east of Mesa Drive. Mayor and council members, these are the items on the consent agenda.
Thank you, Kevin. Ms. Mickelson, do we have any requests to speak on an item on the consent agenda? Thank you. There's been a motion made by Mr. Freeman, seconded by Mr. Glover. Please cast your vote. The vote is 6 in favor with Mr. Luna being absent. The next item on our agenda is items from citizens present. Ms. Mickelson, have there been any requests to speak? No requests to speak? That being the case, council, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting? Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. We are adjourned.